Hi everyone.
You just jumped right in there. Hi, this is David Shepard Love. Welcome to Mystic Muse Online. Special day today. You can see I'm a little high-end presentation today. I'm doing a special talk at the end of this broadcast, so I'm all raring to go for that. So thought I'd try on the new look for today, and in any event, this is a metaphysical chat show. Your questions and comments are certainly welcome. Mystic Muse Online, Metaphysical Chat. I'm David Shepard Love, and welcome.
And welcome. I'm Deborah Christie Love here in beautiful Camp Verde, and it's May the 7th today. It's like I just can't even believe where the time is flying. So yes, do call in, send us your questions, your comments, and anything you'd like to talk about. We're happy to help you out, and anything metaphysical related, anything near-death experience, or anything about the rainbow you can answer, and even psychic questions if you have one today that maybe isn't too personal that we can talk about.
Adjusting.
So, what's new in your world? I just got a report saying that there's a radio station, or some radio station, been knocked out with some of the high level Schumann resonance and sun blasts that we're getting right now into the earth from the central sun. And the Schumann resonance being so high, it's actually affecting some communications right now. So if you have that in your area, that could be what it is. And I guess it's all good because we've been blasted for about over a week now with really high numbers, off the chart numbers, and I think a lot of people are feeling those symptoms. So if you are having some vertigo, some dizziness, some lightheadedness, change in appetite, a lot of emotions coming up, a lot of negative things to clear out, this is all part of that process of raising your vibration and getting higher and higher, upgrading our consciousness and our DNA actually.
Yeah, all part of the process. I've been watching the Schumann resonance. I don't completely understand those graphs a lot of times, but I know when there's a lot of white all the way across it, that means those numbers are soaring through the chart. I know many years ago it used to sit about 6, 7 as far as the number goes, and it stayed there for years, even decades since they've been measuring it. And then about the time 2012 came along, it started jumping up, and now it's not unusual to be up in the 60s and 70s. 40s is more of an average. So what that does is just super intensify our energy levels on the etheric levels here on Earth, and causes a lot of rebalancing that we need to do as our spiritual beings become more upfront, and the physical beings saying, hey, what's going on? We don't know what we're supposed to do with all this energy. So we're assimilating, we're doing the best that we can. So you may be noticing some ascension symptoms right now. Not easy to sleep, or maybe you're just feeling uneasy. In general, just a lot of vibration, maybe ringing in your ears, various pains and aches. All of these can be contributed to ascension symptoms, or which is also reflected in the Schumann resonance being raised at this time.
It's true, there's so many different symptoms. Everyone's going to experience their own variety of them. Yeah, not sleeping is one of them, or disturbed sleep, crazy dreams. Even I feel like I've been tossing and turning, and I'm usually a pretty sound sleeper. The exhaustion is really big for me. I find when we have a super blast one day, a day or so later, I feel total exhaustion for no apparent reason, where I can just sleep for 12 hours that night and basically have no time go by. I think there was the one morning there I woke up at 6 a.m. and next thing I know it was 9 a.m. and I feel like I blinked and it was another 3 hours. So things like that are just happening, and of course the time going by so fast. We don't know where the days and weeks are going, so we have to be kind of gentle with ourselves and realize we may not get everything done we want to do. That's going to happen.
Well, yes, it is. I'm just watching our counter go up today. We're already up to several viewers. That's quite a few this early in the program. Welcome, Ahava, who did take the time to type into our box there. We always appreciate your comments. Typed in the boxes. That helps us communicate with you. And if you do have any questions or comments, any at all, it doesn't even have to be metaphysical, because as it turns out, all things are metaphysical if we tweak it just right, which we tend to do, as being having such a large background in that. So again, welcome to our viewers, and we hope you'll stay around for the whole show. It's going to be a lot of good information today.
Okay, so I think it's time to do my card reading for the week. I did a card on the 555 as well, which was a powerful portal we just came through, and that's all about changes. But when we have those triple digits, like the year, day, and month lining up with the number 5, that's really huge. And there's 2 more days this month, of course, on, what is it, the 23rd, and what's the other day? The 14th. So, of course, we will have 2 more portal days with the 555. And that's all about change. It's all about days when we can try to focus on what we'd rather see. Life is good at showing us sometimes what we don't want to see and what we don't like. So instead of focusing on that, realize that's just a stepping stone to know what we do want, and to visualize and put that out there into the universe, knowing that when we focus on that, knowing it's all available to us. We are part of everything, and whatever we focus on, we draw closer to us. So do visualize those things that you're wanting for your life, those things that would make you happier and more fulfilled, and see yourself doing them, and most of all, feel what it's like to have them already, and be doing those things already. See what that feels like and bring up those emotions. That also draws it much closer. So I'll go ahead and do our card.
And while you're doing that, we'll show the box, Healing with the Angels Oracle cards.
Nope, and this card just
While that's
flew
appearing
out.
on our screen, of course, the writing is backwards. This is a Doran Virtue deck, and you have your card.
It just popped out of the deck for me, and this makes a lot of sense with all the energy we just were describing. We have the Retreat card. So with that Retreat card, it's about rest. It's about rejuvenating, taking that time for you, and doing your self-care. You know, use those Epsom salts in the bath water, take time to meditate, go out in nature, and just be good to yourself. Eat lighter foods, and just listen to your body and what your heart tells you to do, and try to relax when you can, because this change in our DNA being upgraded, and our consciousness being upgraded, takes a lot of energy, and that energy doesn't seem like we're using it by doing something, but we're using it by changing within and within ourselves. So that does take our energy and leaves us less to be, you know, maybe not doing our morning jog that day. Okay.
Retreat, that sounds like a good thing, you know, with all these high energies that are bombarding our Earth right now, really this whole region of the galaxy, we're going to be feeling a lot of extra energy. We just talked about that with the ascension symptoms going on. You might want to find some time for yourself, or in a more quiet environment. Take some time out in nature. And I know we're in the spring season for at least this part of the globe, and fall for the other side. So it's pretty good weather outside. So now's a good time to take advantage of your weather in your areas. Get some nature retreats, and just move in more into self. I think that you know, people around us, especially light workers, are very sensitive to information right now. They're feeling a little bombarded. So you know, if you're in a high frequency environment, say there's a lot of commotion, a lot of people, just a lot of things going on, you might want to back off from that while these Schumann energies are so high, and just find some time for yourself. You know, it's recommended that everybody gets an hour or two to yourselves. For some people, that might be next to impossible. So just take those respites where you can, even if it's just to go out and sit in the backyard by yourself, or go into the loo by yourself, or wherever that is. Just find some sacred time for yourself, and that's really gonna make a difference with these really high frequency times that we're going through right now.
Another great thing you can do if you do get outside is just take your shoes off and put your bare feet on Mother Earth and do some grounding. It's very important to stay grounded and centered right now, and that's a really easy way to do it, is just put your bare feet on the ground and just feel Mother Earth and envision your roots going down, and that energy exchange is there for your healing. The other thing is, if you're near a stream or something of water, put your feet in the water. And try to stay present. Try to focus on what you're doing here and now. If you have any hobbies, great time to do them. Quiet time, painting, writing, maybe make music, whatever it is you love to do. Maybe even gardening. That would be another way to do some grounding. So there's lots of things you can do that are quiet and helpful at this time.
Yep, that's it. We're still waiting for our first questions and comments. I see several people are hanging in the background there. If you want to introduce yourself and say hi, we'd love to know who's out there. They literally give us about a 1/4 inch profile picture there, so unless we know it really well, we're not sure who's viewing, but we'd love to welcome everybody, and please participate in our show. It keeps it much more interesting when our audience jumps in.
It is. So I don't know if you want to get your cards out yet. We haven't got your...
So it looks like we're zipping right along with our different background information. I just wanted to say something about, we just passed Cinco de Mayo, also known as May 5th, and that's the 5-5, and this is an interesting 5-5 this time, because it's on a 2021, which numerology would tell us that adds up to 5. So we're actually in a 5-5-5 gateway right now, and with that's coming a lot of change. And the story I wanted to share today for our viewers is why 5-5 is such a neat number for myself personally, and and then beyond, because so much of the stuff I do is really working on some really deep energies. And so the story is, back when I was writing Rainbow Communications, way back in 1983, November 11th to be exact, I was working on the second issue at the time of Rainbow Communications, and we're all, most of us are familiar with the Genesis account of the Rainbow Promise, where God or the Universal Mind put the rainbow in after the world had been destroyed, and of course that's a big story beyond. Within
the
that,
flooding, you mean? The Great Flood?
The Great Flood, the Great Purification, and the rainbow appeared at the end of that 3 times, saying that all flesh would no longer be destroyed by our own karmic actions. And I was very familiar with that, being a rainbowologist. Even back in 1983, it was a deep subject for me, but I wasn't sure how that fit into Revelation, into this current time that we're in. And here I'm writing at 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to get this information published, and back then everything was literally cut and paste, as in with the glue, and stick it on the paper, and etc. But I didn't have anything that really seemed to relate, except for this Genesis promises that we had. So I just flipped the Bible that I had in front of me a single time towards the book of Revelation, and my eyes fell upon this verse in Revelation 5:5 to be exact. And in there it talks about, I'm going to paraphrase, I don't have it in front of me, but it says, weep not for the tribe of Judah, and the line, and the root of David has prevaileth to loosen the 7 seals. and that's a loose paraphrase, but the key words in there is the tribe of Judah, loosening the seven seals, and weep not. Of course, I know there's a lot of stress going on here on Earth that the Rainbow Promise isn't. It seems like all might be at our wits' end to figure out how we're going to save this world that's going down quickly. But there is a promise in even in Revelation 5:5 in this that the seven seals are being loosened at this time. The Rainbow Promise is being fulfilled. So there's no need to weep over the great calamities that are going on right now. All is in good order. The Rainbow Promise is in good order. So I was really delighted that Revelation 5:5 actually spoke of the Rainbow Promise, and specifically with the root of David, which is my mainstay, as you can imagine. So a lot of the root of David, actually, for our listeners, is actually the connection to the Christ energy, and the whole connection to the story of David, and that consciousness that he brought to the earth. So a lot of really neat promises there. Not quite as spectacular as the Genesis promise, where he said 3 times it wouldn't happen. This, it was just straightforward that the 7 seals are being loosened, and that the Rainbow Promise is in full action right now. So,
but I think another translation for the 7 seals is the 7 chakras. That our chakras are opening, and that is creating this change within us because of this 7 seals being our chakras all opening to more and more light frequencies.
yes, our chakras are opening right now. Many of us have operated in our lower chakras, for eons of time, and now we're moving it up more into the heart chakra and our upper chakras of throat, third eye, and the crown chakra, and all 7 chakras are being illuminated at this time, and this is really bringing a great blessings into our lives as we understand how the rainbow plays into this whole connection of all working together as one. We're not about just the lower chakras, but we're about all of the 7 chakras, and these are being loosened and freed up here on earth at this time, giving us great abundance and connection to the universal mind and source.
It's true. I think everything is going back to our faith, and my faith is the faith within the power that creates universes, because that's within us. That's who we are, and nothing is impossible. Everything is possible in that universe, in that ultimate reality and ultimate potential. And now is the time that everyone needs to connect to that part of them that is divine, that is there for you, and it is your power, and that power connects to all other power of the universe. So when we put that power together with all that is, we have all the power there is. So we should not fear anything. We should trust that higher self and God that is all has a plan for us, and that plan is to live life in abundance, and that we should have no fear, because that's the energy that's changing the world. It is the faith, it is the surrender in connecting to the higher power, and leaving that bigger plan up to the all that is, and trusting that, because that's where our joy and our surprises and our abundance will come in, and just knowing that everything's possible.
Very good. I guess we'll keep pushing forward here. We're not getting a lot of feedback from our audience today. I guess everybody's there.
Well, I said what I said because there's so much division going on. If you're listening to any MS mainstream media at all, that's what's out there is fear, fear, fear. And I'm saying, turn that off. Don't listen to it. There is a powerful plan out there that is, unknown to these people, obviously, but we should turn that off and tune within and focus on the things that bring us joy and happiness, and standing up for our freedoms. We do need to do that as well. So say no when you can, stand up for your freedom when you can, and know that the light is with you.
No, doing the best we can with all of that. And getting a little speechless today. What else do you got here now?
I don't know. What else do we have? Okay, we have my book, There Is Love, My Near-Death Experience and Beyond. So my book starts out with the first chapter being my whole near-death experience when I was very young. And it moves on to follow throughout my life until just a few years ago. So the thing I've learned, one of the biggest lessons I learned throughout my journey, my spiritual journey, is not to judge other people, not to, you know, unless you've walked a mile in their shoes. I'm sure we've all heard that before, their moccasins. You don't know what other people are going through. You have no concept of what their life is, what their contracts are, what their agreements are with the people they came here to be with. So we have no basis on which to judge anyone else. We can only judge what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And letting that go and letting that judgment go and just loving people where they're at is really what I've learned, I think, the most from my near-death experience and what it's brought into my life. Because, you know, we often see things and prejudge them, and unless we know what they've gone through, we have no idea. So I think we've all experienced being judged at some time, or we've, you know, made harsh judgments on others. And when we really analyze it, we really have no basis for it. So we really need to be discerning and just try to love everyone. And unless they're being harmful, there's no reason to prejudge or to go on little evidence of things you don't know anything about. So I don't know, it's just something that has come up over and over in my life, in seeing what's going on in the world. We really have to make our own decisions about things and trust our inner guidance.
We do. There's a comment on the our script here.
Okay. I can't see it yet. Hang on.
I wasn't sure how to apply it.
Judgment. My way. Yeah, there is just so many times in our lives where, you know, we're going to be judged, and we have the choice when we hear about situations to let things go. And if we don't know the whole story, we don't know the whole story, and there's no real need to judge. And it just makes life go smoother if we can have compassion and know that there's so many things beyond our control, so many things that we're unaware of. You know, I read a book called I think it's called Your Soul's Plan, and I believe it's by Robert Schwartz. And that was a really in-depth book about what your soul wants for you. And this is like the story, your soul story is going on behind your kind of physical story here on earth. And we don't know. Like I said, there's people here that have made agreements to actually come into your life and actually cause you pain. And that's a thing you agreed to on some level before you came here. You know, and I've done regressions with people many times, and some people find it hard to believe, you know, why would I agree to all this pain? Why would I agree to having so-and-so hurt me in this way? We agree to a lot of things because we're agreeing from a higher level. We're looking at a, you know, an outline for our life from a higher level. We're in the fifth or sixth dimension. We're looking down going, oh yeah, I can do that. That looks really easy. Yeah, I can learn that and experience that and help others with it. We have no idea. We get here and we experience it and it feels horrible, and we think, oh, you know, what have I done? What have I agreed to? So we do forget, and we have to realize that sometimes even the perpetrators of these things are part of the agreement. They're doing what they actually came here to do. And so we have no right to judge that. We have no right to stop people from having lessons or to condemn people for giving out lessons. We have to just bless everyone and say thank you for the lesson and let it go with that, and know that some part of you was in on it, even if your conscious awareness wasn't.
Yeah, I keep reading that one. Interestingly, very much like larger occurrences. When I think of that, I guess I'm thinking of the rainbow, how that all works together. You know, we are a single color, but at the same time we're also a rainbow. So their personal experiences, they might seem private or individualized, but everything reflects on a higher level. Not only in our friends and family, but also on our community, or even on a worldwide level. It's because we are all interlinked certainly in consciousness, and also on the event fields. I find this also true. Especially true with light workers, because they carry such a high vibration. They may be doing something which might seem personal or just a more of a private endeavor, but a lot of times they're connecting on a super cosmic level, and they'll start to get feedback on higher and higher levels. So they'll be writing a poem. They thought it was for 3 people, and all of a sudden it was a connection to a worldwide event, and they had no idea that this worldwide event was going to happen. But the super consciousness knew and does know that this is all connected, and what we're tuning into was a cosmic or super consciousness level, and then what might have seemed just an isolated event all of a sudden turned out to be a great connection to great changes here on Earth. So we're all connected. We're all not only a micro being, but a macro being, meaning that we're connected on the smallest levels, and everything that we do is connected on a larger level as well, just like the rainbow is.
Uh-oh. What's that?
I think it just popped up, just a phone alert.
Okay. So when you were talking about the bigger scale, exactly what I was talking about, if you kind of look at life as almost here on Earth as a game or a test or something like that, we can see that all the players are there. We have what we call the good ones, the evil ones, whatever, and they're all part of this larger play that's going on, and it's all to find our way back. We came here, we landed here in forgetfulness, and we're finding our way back to who we really are, to the light beings and creators that we are. So that's all part of the game. All these obstacles, all of these challenges that we have here, and all of people that are causing them are part of the game. They're the players that we knew would be here when we signed up for this, and we came here to accept this challenge and decide that no matter how far removed I am from my creator and from my divine source, I will find my way back. And this is about the most challenging place, one of the most challenging places in the universe. And a lot of us are tired, and a lot of people say, I'll never come back here. But you get to the other side, and you experience bliss for maybe 100 years of what seems like 100 years here. And then maybe you're ready to come back, because sometimes that might even get a little boring. So next thing you know, you end up here and with a lot of challenges again, and hopefully Earth will improve and will become a place where more people are willing to sign up and have a better experience. But this is a whole evolution of the universe right now, and we're in a big part of it right now. So even those ones, if we can look at what we consider evil or negative, we can bless those as, they're helping wake up people. These experiences are making people have to go within, and that's what some people need. Not everyone needed that shake up, but some of them really did, and we have to be thankful that this is happening, because we need everyone awake right now, not just the few percent that have been for eons. We need the majority to wake up and change this collective consciousness.
I keep thinking of Trump as you're telling that story. There's been Donald Trump. He came in as a maverick in a lot of ways. He actually tried to get in for about 20-30 years as president. So interesting. He should make it at this time, as we're going through these great earth changes. And when he first came in, besides being a Republican, which I'm not, I'm actually a Green Party member. One person would never win the election, Green Party, but that's the philosophy I support. So Republican, not so much. And but I've watched this guy from backseat, shall we say, and he's actually got some very interesting statements going on around the earth. One of the most notable ones where he's been involved in helping free the underground children, massive process. So, you know, he came in as a kind of a prejudiced guy, wanting to close up the borders, build the wall between Mexico, etc. And a lot of people didn't like it, including myself. But, you know, it took that little bit of darkness, I think, that little bit of anger, energy from different people to say, you know, we're not going to put up with this anymore. And he got a lot of attention out of that. And it wasn't enough to get him reelected this time. As
he's not out yet.
well, he may not be out yet.
The recounting's still going on.
There's a lot of question marks. What's going to happen with all of that? Officially, he's not in, but unofficially, or in the esoterics, there's a lot of information going on. So, symbolically, I just wanted to say that you know, when I think of Trump, it is as if when he blows his own horn, or he had a big agenda going on. And in Revelation, it does talk about the one of the rainbow angels, maybe more than one, that blows a trumpet. So this is it does show some connections there. A lot of these things are not always personalized. We're really talking about very high level symbology, how it's affecting our Earth on larger and larger levels. So when a maverick like that comes in and changes big statements throughout the earth and starts really shaking up some of these foundations that we're used to, that can be like a trumpet blowing, waking people up, giving us a blast of energy to open our eyes that have been scaled over by eons of time by the Illuminati, and now we're beginning to wake up more and more all the time. So all is in good hands. Trump has his position, but you know, so does everybody here on Earth. We're all valuable in our own way. You don't have to be a celebrity to make changes on the Earth. That we tend to follow celebrities. It's not the end of all of what we're doing. The greatest power arises on the 5D reality, on the esoteric realm, on the love and truth axis. So this is where all the big changes are coming right now, where the light is being illumined. To go back to this judgment thing, and we never know who's right or wrong. Well, it's all working out for the good. We just need to learn the lesson of these people that would tend to confuse us, and to move on and keep moving towards the light.
So true. Like I said, there's still, I believe the best is yet to come, and it's going to all work out. The recounts are still going on, and right here in Arizona is a major one going on, Maricopa County, and that should be in probably just a matter of days or weeks. We should know the results of that, and the results are already in other ones. So yeah, we have a lot of things to look forward to, and changes are coming.
Well, when it comes to the political system, much like the state-run media, I don't put a lot of faith in it. These are not our actual leaders. The actual leaders are the people on the ground, the regular people, shall we call them. The 97%, as has been called on other levels. These are the actual leaders, and a lot of times celebrities like presidents and prime ministers and queens, they're all just front men. They're all trying to create an illusion to put us into idol worship, to think that one or two or a group of people are going to be our salvation. At the end of the day, it's going to be the indigo children, the crystal children, the rainbow children that will rise up and show us the true life, because they're actually living it. They don't need to have a name or a title attached to themselves, but their strength is in their consciousness and their magnificent heart and their very strong will to know that this earth, such as it is, cannot sustain itself, and that we're going to keep moving towards higher and higher resonance. That's where the true power is, not so much in all these celebrities and so-called leaders that tend to just be front man for the Illuminati or for the industrial complex.
So true.
That's my little spill. What else we got here? You want me to do a card?
Yeah, do you want to do cards? Haven't had one yet.
The rainbow communication, been going on for a long time, eons of time. This is just a reflection of that from my teachings over 40 years. And this card says we should focus on the wonders spoken by the rainbow angel in Revelation 10. Oh, I do like the rainbow angel. Revelation 10 is you know, the word rainbow actually appears only twice in the entire Christian book called the Bible, and once, or actually both of those times is in the book of Revelation, where you'll find the whole word spelled out. It does appear like the bow in the sky in Genesis and Daniel, different places, but the word rainbow only appears twice. Once in Revelation chapter 4 as the emerald ring glowing like a rainbow encircling the throne, and also in Revelation chapter 10 where the rainbow angel, whose face was as bright as the sun, roared like a lion, and when she did, the little book was revealed. The great secrets of God was revealed at that time. So that the rainbow angel does show an important aspect to the book of Revelation. It is our wake-up call, if you will. It is the one that understands the great knowledge of God, the great universal source, and also the one that held the little book. That little book is the rainbow equation, I believe, or more precisely, the story of the rainbow, which goes into the depths of science, sacred geometry, the rainbow promise in general. So it's interesting that the word rainbow actually appears in connection to the word rainbow angel, and what this rainbow angel is offering us is the revealing of the secrets at this time. That's what the apocalypse means, which is also another the original name of the book of Revelation, and the apocalypse means in general, it just means the revealing. That's why they called the book the Revelation, because the apocalypse was actually the time of the revealing. So it might appear that we're going through the apocalypse right now, the final war, the war of Armageddon, as it's called, the revealing of not only the good, but also of the darkness that's here on earth. All's being revealed right now, and the rainbow angel is a big part of that revealing, as the rainbow becomes our signature of the universal mind, and is guiding us in so many different ways.
I think that your book, The Rainbow Connection, is kind of an expanded version of that little book that you're talking about. I would say that it's the expanded version of all of those secrets and all of that knowledge that you know, is kind of the nuts and bolts of how energy works here on Earth, and the language of light.
Well, the secrets are being revealed at this time. I am quite confident that the book called The Rainbow Connection is the world's most foremost book on rainbowology and understanding the deepest secrets of the rainbow and how that is changing our world at this time. I see
You have a question there. Yeah. How to know if one is crystal, indigo, and rainbow. You know, sometimes sometimes children were categorized by the year they were born or the little gap of years they were born into. But I think there's also a whole set of qualities. These children come in with a lot of knowledge. They come in with certain traits. I know that the crystal children are very loving, very forgiving, very aware. You know, where I think the indigo children of the past were a little more rebellious, a little more want to fight for a cause. So they had a lot of different traits in there as well. And I think, you know, the rainbow children are probably one of the newer children. They're coming in the last few years, maybe last 10 years. And they have also a lot of traits. They're very much star seeds, I would say. They almost are coming in with knowledge and memory of where they come from. They may have tales of, you know, other planets and things that their parents are probably quite confused about. But they do come in with all of this knowledge, and they're here really to help change the world. And by the time they are old enough to, you know, hold jobs or be the ones that run the world will be a completely different place because of them.
Well, you've said so much already, but I'll just tag on and maybe just repeat it in the same phrases. I know the Indigos have been around for quite a while now. The Indigos, quite a few of them came in actually with the hippie generation, right? The ones that wanted to change our world, that knew that society was not working the way that it was, so they grew their hair long, which for the same reason I have long hair. Well, I'm an indigo child, and well, I think I'm a crystal and a rainbow child too. You know, these are all characteristics. Generally, they have followed certain timelines over say every 10 or 20 years. Each generation is generally characterized by one of these particular personalities or character traits. Indigos are a little more rebellious, but they're actually very wise and very conscious beings.
Yeah.
So they had to be the ones that stood in there and you know, started making some real changes here on Earth to open people's eyes and to show that the Earth was, you know, in great peril at this time. Now that our eyes are becoming more open, the crystal children and the rainbow children have made their appearance now. You'll find that these children are very loving, very intuitive, very knowledgeable. They don't really get upset about so much. They just, you know, will look at you and, you know, without saying a word, just, you know,
See through you,
can I say fuck you? And someone will actually say that and do it with a smile on their face because they're not really affected by all these problems so much anymore. They rise above it. They're the ones, the crystal and the rainbows are the ones that are going to change our world as they get older. Many of them are born after the year 2000 or even 2010, and these are the children that come in and they just know everything. They don't accept the old roles. In fact, they don't. They're not able to work. You may say that these children are lazy or unsuited for our world where they are, because the old world is dying away. The money system cannot sustain itself. The crimes of greed and capitalism will not stand under a crystal children or a rainbow child. They're just so much farther beyond that. It says that they don't have the usual 2 strands of DNA, but now 12 or even 24 strands of DNA are woven together. This gives them great cosmic connection, far beyond anything that we're used to. So.
But we're working on it. That's why we're changing.
well, and they are changing the world in so many different ways. So. You know, many of us, especially in my generation, are indigos, the light workers, and as Ahava just said, and myself as well. But
I would say we're more blue rays. We came in just a bit earlier than the indigos.
Well, all relative terms. I haven't heard the word blue ray too much.
Yeah,
I can't comment on that too much.
If you look it up, we fit right in there pretty much. Our biggest task as Blu-rays, we came in just before Indigos, and we came in to make people question everything. That was kind of our job, is to make the adults around us when we were children question everything, and to put, you know, just to shake things up a little bit and to hold to our truth. And, you know, I think that's still part of what we're doing here in the last, even since 2012 especially, we're making people think and rethink things and question everything. Just don't go along with everything's going on. Think about why you're doing it. You know, I was a 3-year-old that was, you know, when my parents were arguing, thinking, you know, I know this is dumb, why don't they know this is dumb? So, you know, and questioning everything that I did or they wanted me to do or that they were doing, and just to get the groundwork put out there that we need to just think things through and follow our hearts and not just blindly follow what society tells you to do.
Well, a good example of a rainbow child, as I shared the story last week, was we had this, I think he might have been 10 years old or younger, 8 years old, 7, I don't know, but he was extremely wise, actually from South America, and he came in and was just seeing everything in the shop and just saying things about it that nobody had ever said, because he was just super observant, and every word that he spoke was just totally right on. So he looked at the rainbow equation that I had sitting there in the shop, and started saying things about that alignment that in my 40 years of dealing with people on this, people had not picked up so quickly. So this rainbow child saw everything. He understood the omnipotence of what the rainbow story was all about, the rainbow equation, and just said it very concisely without missing any words. It's just
he even knew some of the geometry and the word trapezoid and different things like that. It was quite fascinating.
Well, and just to see this career too, and use those words just off the top of my head. I mean, I'm dealing with light workers and geometricians that have not seen it as deeply as he did in just a few seconds. This is the nature of a rainbow child. They just see everything so quickly. The old paradigms don't work for them, but universal paradigms work very well for them. So this rainbow child got it instantly. It was just an amazing thing for me to witness that. But this is happening a millionfold throughout the world as rainbow crystal children are rising up, teaching us older folks the way that it's going to be, and not only teaching us, but are going to be interjecting that energy into the earth and making real and sustainable changes here on earth.
Yeah, we need a time check. We need to go.
No, I'm okay. I'm watching the clock.
Okay.
No, I guess I'm out of time.
Okay. Well, I guess.
So I will say what that is. I'm sure our regular viewers know that I normally never wear a tie here live, but I am one of my many things. I've been a wedding officiant and a pastor and so forth, so I do have some suits and ties in the closet, and today I got a special ribbon cutting ceremony that I'm doing for the Chamber of Commerce here in Camp Verde, and they've asked me to MC that event, so that's actually starting at 2 o'clock, just 10 minutes from now. It's 2 minutes away from here, and so I will be making my exit at this time and letting my partner here to finish off our last 10 minutes. So I guess that's it. My long ado. I guess you'll do the credits for my books and so forth. Thank you for letting me be a part of this, and but I'm going to run now, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Okay, so let's see. Congratulations, David Shepherd Love from Ahava. Yeah, it's really nice to keep up all those things that you're doing, and being on the board of the Chamber Alliance here for businesses is good. And since we're right downtown Camp Verde here, we get to know what's going on in our little town. Okay. I'm going to hold up this book from David's here. This is his Love Illuminations book. And this is a really amazing book to do one day at a time. It's a book you can't read all at once because it would be kind of like, it's kind of like a deck of cards, you know. You get your deck of cards, you don't read the whole book that goes with it in one day. It's the same thing. So I'm going to just randomly open this and read one and ask for a message for today that we can talk about. Okay, let's use this one here. And this one is called Heights of Exaltation. If in my life I could rise above my fears and limitations, I could soar as a mighty eagle to the heights of exaltation. The love in my heart, which to this point I have mostly just talked about, would find a myriad places to associate itself with. It will no longer be trapped by the illusion of pain and separateness. It will fly in victory and one unifying light. Grace will guide it along its way into the perfect unfoldment. Fear and illusions is all that is stopping this love from doing its mighty work. Taking control of my life, I say, I am successful, I fear not, and fly freely into bold new realities. So that is day 91 of Love Illuminations. And that is just the perfect and beautiful message, I would say, for today. Because as I mentioned earlier, I think that fear is really what the mainstream media is pushing, and that's what we need to push away, is the fear. Because fear stops us and holds us back from pretty much everything that we want to accomplish in our life. So we have to take that fear and realize that fear really means, what is that saying? That we can rise above it, forget everything and rise. Is that how that works? Or anyway, fear is always not real. It's false evidence appearing real is the acronym for fear. And it's really something that's really in our mind. And if we can go straight to our heart and kind of eliminate the mind chatter, that's why we meditate, and that's where we can get the better messages and the courage to move forward and to move on and do all those things that will make us happy and successful. See, I think we have some new viewers there. I'm seeing a few more familiar faces out there. Anybody have any questions? And I can just move on into showing David's other book, The Wizard of Oz here. This is a fascinating children's book, really, but written for children of all ages. The Wizard of Oz is about that journey, but it's made into a mystical story with children. But it really explains, as you can see here, it really explains a lot of the geometrical diagrams that go along with finding out that we really are the center of our own being, and we really sit on that throne of being one with all that is. And if you're looking for a book for children that you will enjoy as well, The Wizard of Oz is your book. You can find that on Amazon as well. And David's bigger book, The Rainbow Connection, Gen Z and the Language of Light. So this book is really all about, I would say this is kind of, it's almost like a textbook. It's something that if you want to know how manifestation works, how creation works, we see diagrams like this, the golden mean ratio. There's so many things explained in here that have relevance to basically everything that we do and how we manifest our lives. This helps put the science, unite the science in with the love and the metaphysics, and realizing that it really is all one. This is a book to find that in. So, thanks for all the information. You're welcome. You're welcome. And if you have any other subjects or questions about near-death experience, past lives, anything that is like that, you can contact us here at Mystic Muse. You can send a private message and we can answer that next time we're on. What does that say? I'm reading this right now. Oh, good. That's wonderful. Yeah, and if you could, it would be great if you could put a review up for the book. That would be amazing. I find it hard. I know with my own book I have a few reviews, but not very many, and always can use more. So yeah, please think about doing that. If you've read one of our books, we'd be very excited and happy to see if you could put a review up for us. Is there any other questions out there? Okay, I'm going to just take a look in my book and see what I can come up with. Sometimes I get the perfect topic when I just look through here. Okay, so the topic that came up here is about a change I went through when I was young. I was out of school for many years. I think about grade 1 to almost to grade 8, finishing grade 7, and then my family decided to move, and I found that was a very hard thing for me to do at that time. I had a whole group of friends and neighbors that I hung out with, and the school that I enjoyed, and we moved far away that I had to change schools, and far enough away that my friends wouldn't come visit me easily, and in fact really didn't. But what I learned from that over the next couple of years was that I learned to enjoy my own company. And I think this is what this change of the shutdowns has done for a lot of people, is that same lesson I learned back when I was about 12 years old when we had that move. I had to learn to enjoy my own company because there was very few neighbors out there. We moved out to the country in a very, very small town was close by. But what I did learn to love was I always enjoyed nature, and so I enjoyed the views of the lake, the trails that I could walk on through the woods. I just enjoyed so much about that time and living in nature the way I hadn't been doing when I was living in the city with a lot of friends around. I never had a moment to myself, and it was totally the opposite. But I really remember actually coming home from school, and I used to have probably a couple hours with nobody home, and I used to enjoy that time. I used to love it, and I realized that it all made me stronger in the long run, and that I didn't need to count on having every moment with a friend to talk to or some activity to do. I got to decide for myself what I was going to do, and totally enjoyed all of that time and self-reflection. So it made me stronger, and I'm really grateful now that I learned that lesson very young, because I think it's been hard on people this last year and a half that so many have never learned that lesson yet, have always been so busy and so occupied with people like a revolving door that they haven't had time to reflect. And if anything good came out of being shut down, that's one of the best things that can happen, is to become your own best friend and to enjoy your journey on a much deeper level. Oh yes, I did get a review from you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it's been a journey, and looking back on some of those lessons, I know that even the ones that happened in childhood, they have a big impact on you, and we just have to tune in. We just have to listen to our own guidance and trust that guidance to always be there and help us, because it's not about what everyone else is doing, because everyone has their own journey, and that's the most important thing I think we can realize, is that it doesn't matter what your friends say, it doesn't matter what everyone says. It's nice to hear their opinion, but what really matters is your decision and what feels right for you, and are you comfortable with who you are. And when you get to the point where you realize that you don't really have to I don't know what's the right word. You don't really have to validate what you're doing with anyone else, because you're the one that's living with it. You become free. It's like a freedom happens, and you realize if it's good enough and comfortable enough for me, that's all that matters. Other people will just have to accept it or find their own way, and liking it or not liking it is really irrelevant when you get that anchored peace within that says, I know what's best for me, to try that process. So, Okay, so I think that's all of our things. I have my CD here as well, and they're Love Will Find a Way. I have 8 songs here that have been channeled to me, and I've wrote the words and music for this and had it produced with a friend in Barrie. Josh Dirksen helped me produce this CD, and it was a lot of fun, and I hope that you'll enjoy the messages of that music as well. And you can also listen to that for free on YouTube, and just type in Deborah Christie and you will find my music there on YouTube. So I think that's pretty much all of our credits today, so I'm going to say bye until next time, and please write to us and tune in next week with your questions and comments, and we'll see you then. Take care, everyone.